Yeah, okay, so the recording has started.
Thank you.
Okay, so today's agenda is on quick reports. So I'll be explaining what is the overview, what is quick reports and the overview of quick reports and how to configure sample reports in the eTrack Plus platform. And after that, we'll also be talking about the DocuSign process in eTrack Plus platform and how to configure a document and send it to DocuSign. So I'll just share my screen first. So when you log in inside the platform and when you click on this hamburger symbol, like we'll be able to see what all access do we have. So here we have one more menu called Analyze. So in this Analyze, there will be a menu called Quick Reports, where we can generate a few reports based on the requirement. So Quick Reports is nothing but it's an in-house reporting tool that allows us to quickly configure and deploy reports reflective of the transaction data. And within Quick Reports, we can also configure as a tabular report or even an aggregated report. And to configure this report, we can also provide the permission based on the role. So if only administrator has to create the report and generate it, then we can just provide this quick reports only to administrator users. So this is one of the sample report, I think, which we created during a sprint release. And we also showed this in the sprint demo as well. So here, once again, I'll just show you what this report is. And after this, I'll also explain you how to create the uh, report, which I'm going to show now. So this is a sample report. So this report consists of a project and a customer along with the measure details. So there are two sheets which we have created for this report. So the first sheet will show the list of measures for each of the project against the project name and what is the application type and what are the customer details and what measures has been added to that particular project. Then we have one more one called the summary tab where it will just show the uh, measure count and sum of the savings and incentive against each of the project number. So I'll just run this report and show an example of this. So this is the downloaded report. So this has the list of program name towards project number, project name, and customer informations. And also we have the measure name. So what all measures has been added for each projects along with the savings and incentive. And the summary will just show the project number and how many measures has been added in each project and the sum of savings and incentive to it. So now I'll just show you how to create a report in Quick Reports. So we have a option called new report. So this will show the list, like there are two reports which can be created. One is the tabular one and another one is the aggregated one. So if you want to just create an aggregated report, you can directly go to the aggregation and select whether you have to create for all the models or for any specific models as well. We can click on that and create the report for only the specific models. And in tabular, we have like we can select all models or specific models. And if you want to write any SQL queries, we can go ahead and create SQL queries as well in that. So based on the query, the reports gets executed and generated. So now, for an example, I'll just go with tabular form with all models. So once when we click on all models, it will just take us to a new page where it will list down what all models we have created in the base build tenant. So this has project, project contacts, measures, then payments, then customers, and also the helpful documents and programs. And other registration and other things are the system models, which is added to it. So to create a report, like I just showed you an example report of the project details, customer and measure details. So to configure that, so here in the projects model, it will just list down all the attributes which we want to add to a column, or we can go ahead, expand this projects model and select what all attributes we want. Otherwise, we can also search over here and it will just list down the attributes for in the particular models. So for example, I'm just going to add project number, then project name, and the application type, whether it's a pre-application or a final application. And towards this, if I want to add a customer name as well, so we have the attribute called name as it appears on bill, where it will store the customer name. So I'll add the customer name as well. And towards this, if you want to add any other details on the project, we can also add those as well. So right now I've just added like project number, project name, application type, and the customer name. And to this, I'm going to add measure details as well. Like I want to, like for example, if an admin reviewer or engineer review, when he comes and if he wants to see like project details and what all measures has been added to that project. So in this case, I'll add a project measure name, then the savings. So we have annual energy savings, fossil fuel and gas savings. And towards this, I'll add the incentive as well. So these are the attributes which I've added for now. And once these columns are added, and if you want to check whether the data are populating correctly, and if you want to see whether to just preview it before creating this report, you can just click on this preview and it will display the list of informations which have been already added in the eTrack Plus platform. So in this tabular one, if you see like for the project number, if there are more than one measure, then the project information and customer details will get repeated and the measure what has been added will be shown over here. So for example, in this particular project, there are two measures added. One is called lighting and another one is variable frequency type. So it just listed two entries with the same details for project information, but the measure will have the unique measures added to that particular project.
I have a question. So, so the information from the projects that are in all statuses will come here, or only once it's submitted and approved will be coming here?
Right now, we don't have any filters to this, so it will just show you the list of all the projects which are submitted in eTrack Plus platform itself.
So,
Even
regardless of
if
the
an
status.
Yes, even regardless of the status. If you
Okay.
want to like provide a particular status and show only those applications, we have an option called the data constraints over here on
Mhm.
the right hand side where you can add a filter to this. Like
Okay.
if I select projects and I'll just provide a condition to it, then based on like, for example, I'm providing a workflow status and I just need only the applications which are in final app. Uh, just a second, let me check any status. Okay, so if I just take only final app admin review, So right now, what the report will do is it will just pick the applications which are in FineLab admin review and
Oh,
show us only those.
okay, okay. Thank you.
So before the filter, it just showed us a total of 36 entries, but now based on the filter, it just shows only 20 entries.
Okay, thank you.
And so here, like another options are data constraints, which we saw now. And another one we have is a sort option, like whether based on few of the attributes, if you want to sort it based on the order and show it in the report, we can do that as well. And another one, what we have is join function. So here, right now, for the projects and project measures, it will automatically put a inner join and show us the list of all the data over here. And if you want to add a new group to it, we can also add here. And this eye icon will show like what all joins can be added for this particular data models as well. And the last one we have called parameters. And here the parameters is like if we add any before like date. Okay. So the parameters is where like before when we run a report, when we click on run report, it will show us a filter where it will ask for us to provide some value to it. And based on that, the report will get generated. So the difference between the parameter and data constraint is like whatever attributes added in the data constraints is like a hard-coded one. So if I provide only FineLab admin review and each time when I run a report, it will just show only the applications which are in FineLab admin review. Whereas if we provide that in parameters, so whenever we run the report, before the reports get generated, it will ask us for a filter where we can provide whatever filter we need. For example, I can put as FineLab admin review, or if I want to see only applications which are ready for payment. So whatever filter I provide over there, based on that, the report will get generated. So that's the difference between data constraint and parameters. And also, if we want to change any of the column names, we have a button called column properties. So this column properties will show the column names, like what all we have added. And if we want to change any of the display name, for example, right now we have the customer name as it appears on bill, which is the display name which we have added in the model, in the data model. So if we want to change this to the customer name, we can change that over here. So after we apply it, so now the column header has changed to the customer name. So here, when we again preview the report, so here even the column display name will get changed. So here for measure name, it says like we have a measure as an object. So only it shows as measure hyphen measure name. And if we want to change this to only measure name, for that we can go to column properties. Then just remove this measure hyphen, have measure name, apply it, and the display name gets changed over here. So when you preview it, it only shows measure name. So that if you want to like change any column names over here, we can do it based on that. And toward this, so this sheet will show the list of measures like added to the project. And if you want to see the some of the savings, like an aggregation report, what we can do is we can also add one more sheet over here. So in the bottom left side, we have it as name sheet one. So here we have a plus icon. So when we click on this, it will again ask for us a different sheet, whether we want to do a tabular one or aggregation one or a SQL query. So based on this, the sheet two will be designed. So if I click on aggregation, if I click on create, it will show me the list of the design for the aggregation model. So here we have like a design type. So here we have two design types. One is called flat and another one is called nested. So the flat one will just show the list of summation of all the incentives or savings based on the attributes which we add over here. And the nested one is like it will just present the data in a tree-like table structure based on the relationship between the groups. So here, so right now I'll just go with the flat design type. So here I'm adding project number. So here right now I want to see like how many measures has been added for each of the project and what are the savings and what is the total incentive to it. So here as the row group, I've added one of the attribute called project number. Then in the aggregated attribute, I will add the annual savings. So here, like, if you want to like rearrange this to the rows or whatever has added in the row to an aggregate, we can do it as a drag and drop. So here, if we click, that's just a drag and drop feature where we can drag and drop the fields as well. And I will add incentive to it. And I want to see the measure count as well towards. So
So
I'm just adding
one
the,
question.
yeah.
So Ashwin, when you clicked on the savings part, it automatically dropped it in aggregate attribute section. Is how does
Yes.
it know that it needs to go there because it's already a child relationship?
Yes, and also like see like for the I've just added these values from project measures as well. The measure name also I've added from the project measures, but
Mm-hmm.
measure name got added in row group while the other things added in the aggregated. There are two.
Yeah,
One is between the relation and another one is the data type which we define. So all the savings and incentives we have defined as number and currency field, so it automatically goes to the aggregated attribute while the string fields get added in the row group.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So right now the measure has been added in the row group. So I'll just drag this and drop it over here. And here it will just show like whether to provide max, min or count. So I'm just changing this to count so that I'll be able to see like how many count of measures had been added for each of the projects. And right now here we have the display name as measure name. So when I click on this column properties, I will also able to change this to the measure count. So here once I preview this, it will just show. So for each of the projects, how many measure counts are there and the sum of each of the savings and incentive towards. Okay, and one more thing is like here we have one export option. So this export option will export the particular sheet which we are viewing. So for example, if I'm in sheet one and if I click on export, it will just export me this particular sheet one. And if I click from sheet two, if I click on export, it will just export only the sheet two. If I want to export both sheet one and sheet two in Excel, I have to run it from the, after I've saved this report, I'll just show you how to do that. So I'll just save this report, provide a name called measure detailed report. I'll just enter a category called measure and it will just show over here so that we can group the reports based on a category. So now this has been added as measure detailed report. So here we will have an option again to edit or delete or clone this. So here we have one more option called run report. So if I click on this run report, it will just show me what all sheets to be. So here I can just execute only one sheet, or if I want, I can execute both the sheets. So if I click on both the sheets and execute, so it will just download an Excel file with the details of measures which has been created, with sheet 1 with the detail of each of the measure, and another one is sheet 2 with the summation. So this is how we can configure and generate quick reports.
So after you
Any
save the report, right? Will this report available for everyone, or this report only for the user who create the report?
like that's a role level permission we can provide. So who wants to create the report, we can provide it for
No,
them alone so that they yeah.
no. Well, my question is, after you save this report, like the first report, the measure detail report, right? So after this
Yes.
is saved, it will appear on a quick report list. So will
Yes.
this measure detail report only available for myself, or it will be available for everybody?
Okay, it will be available for the one who has created this report, and once they have created and if they like reviewed it, like everything is working correctly, they can go ahead and share this report to whomever they want to share it.
I see. Could you go back to the design? I actually got a question on the join. On the way, right? There's a join button. Yet,
Yes.
yeah, right here, right? So can we change it on here?
Yes, if you want, you can change this as well.
No, not the type of the join, but the like ID equal to project ID. Can we change it?
Yes, you can change it.
So
Right now
on
we have this
oh,
projects and
oh,
project measure ID based on the ID, so it just populates. And if you want to change it based on any other unique one, which is a key between projects and project measures, we can change that here as well.
what if I pick the one field and then map to the one field on another model?
Then when you try to run the report or preview it, there won't be any data showing for that particular report.
Well, I was trying to how can we prevent the user mapping the wrong field, from one model to another model. So let's say, from ID, if they change it to project name, map to project ID, then that's definitely a wrong field, right? Wrong mapping, right? So
Yes.
so the person who created the report need to know the data model pretty well. Otherwise, there's a chance they might getting the wrong data, the incorrect data on the report.
Actually, like when they
So
create a report at the first time, the joins will be automatically added with based on the unique one which we have already specified between projects and project measures.
Right, but then the user is able to change it, right? So I mean, I'm just saying like there's a chance that they could getting the wrong data if they change the join the field on the join. But anyway, I just want to bring this up. So
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll just
so
check on that as well,
uh,
like what can be done.
yeah, Ashwin, can I answer this? So, Gary,
Yes.
it's like kind of writing a query. So, but since it's a designer, based on the data model, whatever the data dictionary is created with associations, so the automatically system writes the join and uh, that is prevented. And if you want, you can add some additional custom joins in order to filter your data.
mhm.
So if you write an improper join, it may reference the cross joining, and the record may also be get duplicated. Right, right, if you are writing a query, if you use uh, the the joins incorrectly, that may reference the cross joining. So same way. So it's more or less, but we have prevented to the extent that um, uh, how the data model is designed. So the quick report is preferring the join as per the design.
So on here, can we also remove the permission, prevent the user to change the field on the join? Because this is like it seems to me this is like a predefined model, right? Because on the left, your project contact, project merger. So it seems to me those are all the relationships already defined by whoever created the model. So prohibit the user to change the join. That may prevent them to generate the wrong data that they wanted.
I got it. I think we will check and get back to you because that is prevented. Because if the data model itself having parent-child one-to-many relationship, by default this join will be allowed and you cannot make changes to it, but you can add additional joins to it. Like for example, this is referencing the project and project measure joined by project ID. If a project has 10 measure, it will by default this join will apply, and if you run a report for a particular project, you will get 10 rows. In addition to it, you can write a condition or a data constraint to filter only the approved measures, and you don't want to query the failed measures out of the inspection status. You can write an additional in the data constraint as well.
Got you. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I see there are system roles and system role permissions. What are those based on the left panel?
Ashwin, can you expand that?
Yes.
Okay, the created by and everything. Okay.
I have another question on regarding this on the model, right? So how do you define the data source? Where did you specify the connection? Where so you do you, so I want to know like on here, right, the data model, where do you specify the connection? Like which database you connected to, what data object that you use on those the data models.
Ashwin, can before going
Yeah.
to that, Gary, let me answer the previous question. The system model, system role, and system role permissions is if you wanted to run a report saying how many roles has been configured for the particular tenant, for example, say administrator, project manager, or something like that, this report can run. And so these are all the roles available in this particular tenant for this client. And for each role, what permissions has been provided. It's like kind of an administrative report to run and check what privileges or permissions as provided to each role. So that's the system role and system role permissions.
Okay, I see. But
Yeah.
not if a role, if administrator is changing the column name or something, it doesn't identify here, right?
So for the system defined models, user will not be allowed to change the schema because that's fixed.
I see.
Only
Okay.
the user defined schema, like when we are modeling the project model, measure model, only that is being allowed to be changed by the administrator as well. So
Okay.
if it is a schema defined by the system, you cannot change the column name or attribute, but in the report, you can override with the display name and run a report on based on your preference.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So sorry, I needed one more clarification, and sorry again if I missed it and it was mentioned. So I think as far as I know, MongoDB does not allow you to do foreign key relationship, right? To develop that between the tables or entities. So here there is a behind the scene, there's some kind of relationship already established for the entities. And did we cover where that's done behind the scene?
That's what I was supposed to answer Gary's question. That will get answered your questions also, Sophia. So
Okay.
Ashwin, can you go to the data dictionary section?
Yes.
And edit the project model? So if you see here, this is the data model of the projects. And if you click attributes, you will see all the attributes or the field names are in the project model. And if you see there is an association tab at the top, that's actually the relationship. So it has one-to-many relationship to project context model. on one-to-many relationship with project measure, which is like primary and foreign key association.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So this association is reference to the quick reports as well. And based on this association, the joins automatically is built with the primary key and the foreign key in the quick reports modeling. So since you run the project and measure, since the project and project measure has one-to-many relationship with project ID as the parent and foreign key, so there the project and project measure model is fixed, and the inner join with ID and with the project ID is prevented so that it cannot be made changes. So user doesn't want to make this join again. System automatically understands from this association and automatically shows you that option in the quick reports as well. If we do this modeling wrong, then the quick reports will also become again. So that's the flexibility we have, and also we need to do it very carefully while we are doing a design.
So if we want to add a new field to a quick report, we need to add an attribute first on the data model. Is that right?
So, sorry, Gary, can you repeat it?
So going back to the quick report, the project model, right? So let's say if we want to add a new field onto the report, so do we need to add an attribute on here first?
Yes. So this is actually your schema, a table design for the project model. And once you added this field, it will start appearing in the quick report schema.
That makes sense, yeah.
Just a question on the back to the quick report. So once you configure, like if you go back to the one you already configured and you click the SQL button, will it automatically show what the SQL statement will be for what you've configured? If you click on SQL now, will it show? Okay.
So if you load the SQL good enough, you could actually edit this query, I guess, then you could save it. So whatever save would be applied to the report. Is that right?
So actually, we built this functionality. A main purpose was to avoid writing queries so that non-technical users can also use this reporting function with drag and drop functionality if they understand the high level structure. But in order to, as a core team, to debug some issue or something like that, or the other flexibility to write a simple queries, we can make use of this. So, and like seeing a different perspective of what is configured through query can be achieved here, and the reverse way, like you asked, if I know to write a SQL query, I can write a query that can be converted into a design.
Can you please show us one example to generate a report based on this query, please?
That's what I'm saying. I think, Ashwin, is that correct? We cannot directly write a query and generate a report, right? So we need to design.
Yeah, no, based on whatever is configured here.
Okay.
Whatever is, query is here. Okay, so you copy paste from there and then.
Yes.
Okay. There is no direct connection with that. Okay.
So basically, I just copied the query which we used in the previous report, and just based on that, the report got generated here.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on quick reports?
So a very basic question, and I think, sorry again, I think I joined a few minutes late and missed that part. So how did we get to the quick reports? Is it a module or is it a portal link or what was it?
It's a module, like a menu in the eTrack Plus platform itself. So when you log in into the platform and when we click on this hamburger symbol, we will have a menu called Analyze. So inside this Analyze, we have another submenu called Quick Reports. So when we click on this, it just takes us to the Quick Reports page where we can start building the reports.
And from behind this, oh, okay. But it's not like in the settings module thing like we have for Quick Style?
No. Like Quick Style, it will be in the configuration side, but the Quick Reports we can be able to access from the admin side itself.
I see. Okay, so that's not in the configuration side. All right, thank you.
Because Sophia, that quick style is something which we are building a portal and doing a testing and deploying. But quick reports is like kind of an ad hoc report capability which a transactional user can generate a report of that their data. So based on the role based access, which role have privilege to we are selecting or deciding to provide access to quick reports. They will see the quick reports under their menu and they can run the report out of their data and just get.
Okay, so yeah, it's more like a end user level, quick UI, a report making a report designer sort of a thing, right?
Yes, you are right.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just checked. We don't see that in our menu for DTE or base build. Is that something we will be set up to access, or?
Yes, we'll just provide the permissions to the role level, because right now we have not provided it on the DTE and base build. So we'll just provide the permissions to it.
And
So
we'll also
yeah.
send the instructions how to set up or how to provide quick report permissions to each role. And since it will be part of the training and you can provide quick reports to whichever role you need based on the problem.
And is there already a documentation on this? On the role setup and stuff?
I think yes, we should have been provided. If not, we will check and get back to you. Or if we have provided the role-based access control documentation, we can add a section to it, how to enable the quick reports to the same document.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question. So let's say, now we are working on DTE, right? So let's say we have another kinds that we need to work on. Now I have like a two kinds. When I build a report, can I specify like which database or which tenant I want to connect it to?
Yes, Gary. Like if you're working on multiple clients or multiple tenants, from your My Account, like from your O365, you will be landing to eTrack's My Account, right? There you should be seeing two different login tiles, like one for DT and one for PNM or Pico. And if you go into that eTrack plus tenant, you will see only those client-specific data into the tenant. You can run a report out of it. So even though the models and schema are mostly same based on the solution set, but the data is different or unique to its client. Did I answer your question, Gary?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Leila, just for your FYI, I just created a ticket in the
Awesome.
client connection support, not for the one you asked me yet, but I created it for quick reports. So
Okay.
it's on the radar. So yeah, whatever we talked about to give access to IT, if you can please go ahead and give
Start
Ashwin
working on
the
it.
list. Yeah, I don't have the list handy, but a list of all the IT people would be great.
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
Just one more
So
question. Right, so many questions. So on the designer, let's say the report that can request, oh, I want a logo because I don't see any like image. We can we add an image to a report?
so which means you wanted to include an image in a report?
Yeah, can we like graphic, maybe just add an image on a, let's say, the logo, the company logo onto the report?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Let us check and get back to you, Gary. We have taken your question and we'll respond to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay then. Shall I move on to the system generated document for DocuSign?
Anybody has any other additional question before Ashwin moves to DocuSign? Okay. Ashwin, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, sure. Thank you. So okay, so next on the for DocuSign, so usually what we will do is first we'll just configure an as-post document. So for the sample document, I'll just show you what has been done in the base build. So here we have a menu called document templates. So once we have added the keywords or the placeholders to the document, we will just upload those documents over here. And from here, then we will map it to our documents, then to the workflow so that the documents get generated correctly. So for example, I'll just show one of the already created document over here. So this is one incentive, like a customer incentive agreement as a sample document, which we have received while try to create or generate this one. So here we have project information, and according to apart from that, we have the tax status and the federal tax ID, and then the customer sign, and if they want, they can provide the date as well. So here, like whenever we want to create a as-post document, we'll start with the whatever attributes if you want to add. So for example, I'm going to add a project name and I want to populate that value in the document, then we have like few placeholders which we have to add. So initially, like from whichever data model we're going to fetch the data, so we'll start with the table start. So for example, right now the project name is an attribute inside the project's data model. So here we will start with table start as projects. Then we will add what all attributes we're going to fetch from the project's model. So here we are fetching the project name. Then we have the estimated project cost, then the actual project cost or the invoice amount and the actual completion date. So the whatever fields we're going to add over here, this one should reflect the attribute name which we have added in the data model. So here we have the projects as the data model. So the project's name, whatever is specified over here, will be the table start. Then inside that, for the attribute, we have project name. So here, whenever we create an attribute, we will create it with the camel case. So the same logic should be added in the document as well, so that the values or the data, whichever is stored in this project name, will get reflected in the document correctly. So these are the keywords which we start using, and for another example, we have projects, and inside projects we have the company name in another table. Just expand this. So inside projects, we have an organization as an object. So to fetch the organization name from this organization. So here what we'll do is we'll start with table start organization, and inside that we have name as an attribute. So that has been added over here. Then we have the table end. So whenever we start with a data model like a table start, then we have to also have a table end so that all the values whichever gets populated from this table gets generated correctly. So for example, I have table start over here and I have a table end over here. Because all other attributes, whichever we're going to populate over here, reflects from a project's data model. So the name alone will get reflected from project organization. So we have added the table start organization and table end organization here itself. And for example, if there is project name also inside a table in the organization, then we can add this table and organization in the below one so that the name and project name, both of these values gets populated from this organization model. And this table start and names, if we right click and toggle, so this is the format which we use, merge field and the attribute name and merge format, and open and closes with the curly braces for the attribute name. And for the table start, so the same as merge field, table start organization, and end with the merge format. So these are the format which we use to populate the attributes values from the data models which we have defined. And when we send this to the DocuSign, the values in these table gets generated. And for customer signature and date, we have another placeholder. Let me just highlight this.
One question.
Yes.
So if you were adding a field like for the table start organization, would you write, that's a sign less than equal to and table start, or would you rather type, table merge format, whatever you showed the field code? Which one are we supposed to write? The underlying code or what we see right now?
So, Ashwin, let me answer. So,
Yeah.
Sophia, we are not defining any code here. So, we are using the mail merge from the Word, right? So, if you find at the top, click the mailing session at the top,
Yeah.
and then go and just say insert field. The mail merge concept is being used here. If you insert a mail merge field, this automatically the syntax will come. The table start and table end is the mail merge syntax. And we are just replacing the model name and the attribute name in the mailings. And as a behind the scene, our product is using this mail merge functionality with Ask for Service to replace the keyword with our payload structure from the database. So that's to answer you very simple.
Okay, yeah, that means I think I used mail merge a while ago, so I don't remember much, but okay, thanks for explaining.
Yeah, but if you want the simple guideline, what you used to follow, we just copy this entire field and paste it in the document where we used to do, and then just right click and edit field, we'll change the attribute name. So it will be very easy for us. So
Okay.
it's a default Microsoft mailing merge concept, and that syntax is being followed. So we'll get numerous documentation. We can also share you some sample links and how to create a mail merge from the MS Office forum. So you can make it.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. And so for the signer and date, the placeholder or the format what we use here is defined in the documents. So for example, I'll just open a documents and I'll show you. So we have one more menu called documents. So here where we define what all documents is mandatory for a particular program. So for example, here for retrofit all measures, we have these many documents, and we'll also show whether it's a system generated or whether it's a manual document. So here, when we create a document, it will just list down the document types, whether it's a system generated or manual. So when we click on system generated, we have an option called e-approval required. So this is where we enable it as yes, so that this document will be sent to DocuSign for e-signature as well. And here next to that, we have a signatory tab. And here it will just list down like what all to whom this document gets sent and who will sign it and the expiry date and the reminder before it gets expired as well. So here, if I just edit it, it will just show me the model attributes. So whatever email data type I have defined in the model will just list down over here. So based on that, I can select to whom this has to be sent. And I can also define a customized message in the template so that whenever a DocuSign sent to an particular email ID, so this will be their content where they can verify. And we can also provide the subject as well. And here, so here we have an option to specify whether it's a signer or a date, or if we want to specify a checkbox or even a text box where they can, for example, if they wanted after the signature, if they wanted to write a name, we can use this text box option so that they can, based on that, they can provide the value to that particular text box field. So here for signer and date, we have already defined the placeholder over here. So here, like whenever we click on this control, it will just show us the placeholder here. So here we can just define whatever placeholder we want to define. And whatever is defined here, this one will be added in the document template so that it will just search for this particular placeholder, and based on this in the DocuSign, it will show a sign over here where they can sign it. And here for date as well, we have already defined it as date, and based on that, the date gets populated over here. And the placeholder, we have a format for this to be defined as well. So we start with the hyphen as well over here. So we need to have underscore underscore, then we will be providing whatever name if we want. So for example, this particular document has two signer, one the customer has to sign and another one contractor has to sign, means then we will provide this as a signer one and then underscore underscore. Then for the second signer, we can also have it as signer, then here it will show signer 2, then underscore underscore, so that there will be two signers for this particular no, this one I've already added, so only it's not showing the signer 2 is not added over here. So if there are two signers, so this one will have signer 1, and in another one I can go ahead and add for contractor. Then if I go here and if I give control as signer, then if I add signer 2, then we can add this to the document. So this placeholder can be added over here so that once the customer sign it, then the next contractor will as well sign this. So if there are like multiple signer for a particular document, then based on that, we can add multiple entries over here. And based on that, it will just show the list of users to sign this. So I just add test, test. And if I save this, it will show me the second signer as well. So the first sign the customer will do, and the next one, the contractor will sign it. So based on this, once the system generated document is configured, we will add that to the document template. So we will just provide a name and just upload the document over here. So once the document is added over here, then this document will get reflected in this documents menu. So here, when we create a particular document and we provide this document as system generated, so it will just list down all the document templates which we have added to that document templates menu. So you can just click on one of the document and add it over here. So once the document is added, then we'll go to the workflow where we will tag this to a particular user, like a user task node, where we'll specify whether it should be a DocuSign. So here, so we'll be having like two tasks. One is send task and another one will be a receive task. So this receive task will generate the document, whatever has been created. So here we have draft customer incentive agreement. So in this particular node, whatever based on the placeholders or the mail merge field which we have added in the document will get generated in this particular task. And once they have clicked on digital signature, then here we have the receive node where it will show what is the signature type is. So DocuSign, then what's the source document, and once they have signed it, where it should get stored as well. So we have like a draft customer incentive agreement is a system generated document, and the signed customer incentive agreement will be a manual document. So once the document gets signed, it gets stored in this signed customer incentive agreement as well. So here in the documents, so here we have two. One for the system generated, where we will upload the document which we have already configured, and this manual document type, where once the signer has signed it, then it automatically gets stored in this particular document name. So this is where we provide it in the workflow, like the source document and the destination document. So based on whatever placeholders or whatever the merge field we provide, based on that, the documents get generated. And when they click on this DocuSign step, it moves to this particular status where it sends the document to the particular user, which we have defined in the documents. So once they have signed it, then it automatically gets stored in that signed customer incentive agreement. And next, the status moves to the from here, then it moves to final app admin review status. So this is how we configure a system generated document and map it to the documents and add it to the DocuSign to send the document for e-sign.
So one question, because we have a few tickets in our upcoming sprint related to DocuSign. For example, there's one document that we thought we just needed to find the document and tweak the language in there for DTE, and it's called the e-sign voided document. Do we know if does that exist in eTrack Plus, or do we need to go on DocuSign portal that you used for the setup to find and modify that template?
No, you have to like it won't be in eTrack Plus. You have to modify the template and add the template in eTrack Plus so that it sends to DocuSign for e-sign.
So, but it wouldn't already be there as part of the base build?
Right now, we have only one document, which is customer incentive agreement, which I've showed you now. So this is the sample document which we received to be added to the base build.
Okay. Maybe I'll check with Sushma. I think I was under the impression from some last demo that that was all implemented in the base build, and we needed to just tweak the language, but it seems like that's not the case for the voided or
No,
the time request, or the
So in
envelope
the
that's expired.
So, Sophia, I think in the base build we have, based on the ticket what we have, we have this incentive agreement generated as part of the document generation template, and we are generating the system generated document, and that is being configured to send for e-signature for the customer. So right now we
Yeah,
are talking about multiple documents. We can add those into the specific tenant, and then we can make modifications. So if you wanted to incorporate in that base build, then we can write a story and we can make those change and push it so that you can just tweak the template and adjust to the DT or a client specific instance.
Yeah, in my mind, it should be part of base build because, if a client uses DocuSign, they would need all of this. If they don't, maybe there should be a flag that says whether they use DocuSign or not. And if they do, then all this should become active for that tenant.
Okay, in that case, what you are referring is first document is the incentive agreement that can be tweaked or language can be modified, or even you can have client specific branding in that document and make those filled and signed, get it from the customer. That is, we have it in the base build and that can be changed for DTE. So can I understand what is the void document? Is a different template you are generating and get it signed from the customer?
Well, so yeah, one of the developer has this, and Shumay chime in if you want. When we compared the documents, they don't match with this customer incentive agreement. So we're guessing it's a totally different document for all those 5 cases.
So I think it's not related to it's more like DocuSign email templates. My understanding from Friday meeting, those templates should be located in DocuSign itself. For example, it will send the email to the users to tell them the e-sign requested. Then it could be rejected, and the user rejected to sign, or maybe they forgot to sign after several days. It should send the email to them again to tell them the e-sign is still waiting for them. Those kind of email templates. We were hoping.
Yeah, those will remain in DocuSign because we need to configure them within the DocuSign. And we are eTrack Plus using the DocuSign API to just send the document to that particular API. So the DocuSign receives the document and understands the document where the placeholder, who is the signer, and it relays that template from the DocuSign configuration and sends that to the particular customer with the specific branding of that particular document instance of API. So this is available in the base. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's what we're looking for. How can we modify that template within DocuSign? Because I think that's what the ticket requires that we have for DTE.
So we have this email chain from this morning. We have used some demo account within ANB for use in the base bill. If we get those a specific API or a DocuSign login for DT or client specific, then we can suggest you, or we can provide you the documentation how to go and modify within the DocuSign templates. I think that's very well defined in DocuSign. We don't develop anything, so we use the DocuSign's features to make, and we can help you out on that. Okay.
So, sorry, are you seeing those current? I think there is some sample one for API, ABC or whatever already there. We cannot.
You can change right now. That ABC, the document what Ashwin shared. Like Ashwin, can you go to that document e-sign configuration and open and show the template?
Yeah.
That is the custom message to be sent along with when signatory gets the email with a custom note that is configurable within our eTrack Plus. Here you can go and modify the document notification language and include the if it is a DT, you can include the DT logo, or that you can send it from here. But void, reject, or expiry notifications are sent directly from DocuSign, and that template has to be configured. Email or template has to be configured within the DocuSign. So that's what I'm referring the two different things.
So you cannot demo from that side. You will have a document and get our access set up later,
Correct.
so we can change.
Yes, we need to log into DocuSign. If we are using a production account, we will not get access to the production account, right? So we need to log into the production DocuSign account of that particular client. And there in the account settings, you will have an option to modify a custom message or branding or what notification to be sent out when you're voiding a document, what notification to be sent out from when there is an expiry email, reminder email sent from DocuSign. Those are all the settings within the DocuSign instance of API, the administrative console of the DocuSign.
But Casey,
Egress plus,
can't,
yeah,
can't we set that up in the lower level environment also to
yeah,
test
you
it?
can, you can. That's what we have asked. Can we have one lower environment setup specific for DTE, and we can use that API for the DTE specific tenant so that you can configure and test it with lower
Oh,
environment?
so at this point in time, you cannot show that because the account is not yet created, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sophia, maybe we'll have to have a follow-up. So the account that is required to be created is not yet done. So Prashanti is coordinating with GSS IT along with Shub to get the account created. Once that account is created, then we can have that orientation from Casey and team. And
Yeah.
then similar setup can be done in production, but that's down the road.
Correct. So we
Right.
once that account is created with it, we can tie that API credentials to the DTE tenant, and we can have one more walking session like how to log into that DocuSign and make changes to the template or something.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
think the disconnect was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sophia, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it answers the question. The only thing is, Gurdeep, you, Sushma, and I need to meet after this meeting. I think because our sprint starts tomorrow, and there are a couple of tickets that are relying on that knowledge share to have happened a while ago. So we cannot start those tickets.
Yeah, we can meet and talk about it and replan that. But on the other side, Prashanti has already submitted the request, and the only thing is we do have the account in the lower level, but it is being used by EPAM, so we don't want to use the same account. So we'll have another account created, and I think we should have it probably by tomorrow itself. And once that account is created, then we can ask Casey to have a follow-up. Maybe we can have a knowledge share on Friday and get this thing out of the way.
And then I want to mention one thing, and Casey, maybe that's how your team does it anyway. So when we set up DocuSign for our legacy OA, we had one DocuSign account, but we set up like within that, we set up like multi-tenant for different clients so that we don't have to set up a new DocuSign account for each new client that comes along. And we did that down the road. Initially, we had different accounts and we were like, yeah, this is a nightmare to manage. So I'm hoping that you're already going to be configuring in that way, like one DocuSign account, but there would be either whether it's a folder or whatever strategy that is for multi-tenant, it would be in one DocuSign portal for easy management. Is that how we're going to have it or not?
No. I think let me clarify you again in detail. You can have one account, and I think you can create multiple sub accounts within DocuSign. And each sub account you can generate an API access token, and you can, like for DTE you can create one sub account. For PQ you can create one sub account. Each sub account can have different API credentials, and those credentials can be used within the specific eTrack plus tenant. So within that sub account, you can create your own template and language changes. So that's how it works, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
looks like we are on the same page about that.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I think we are talking about two things over here. One, setting up email templates when you void a document or get a document, what language you need to do, that ticket can be replanned. But with an existing content, you can make changes on generate your own uh, DT specific document and make those system generated and test it with the existing, that can be continued. So once that is done, we can again have another session and we can walk you through how to set up those things. So, yeah, with it.
So Casey, let's tentatively plan for Friday. And
Yeah,
if suppose the account is not created, then we'll push it to maybe next week. And
Okay.
Prashanti, are you there in this call?
I'm here with you.
Yeah, Prashanti, so find out who will be working on this from GSSIT, and let's push them to get this thing done by tomorrow. Okay.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that we can have the session on Friday.
Yep. We'll also do one back check, like with the demo account. If we could do that, in the Friday session, we can walk through those changes from with our demo account. How can be changed? You can record that, and once you have that DT specific account created or DocuSign account created, you can just go ahead and start your configuration. We don't wait until the account is being created. If we could make that, so we will review that tomorrow and get back to you, and we can use that account to walk you through for the Friday session.
That would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so any other question or anything else we want to cover?
No, I think we're good. We're already over time, but yeah, I think
Cool.
we should wrap it up.
Cool. All right, thank you all. Thanks, Casey, Ashwin, and team. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank